Hello again, I'm Stephen Jerome, and I'm going to continue reading from the London Year. It just it goes on and on. This is part 109, and we really are getting close to the end here. So at this point, back in the comfort of Tess's arms, relating events of the previous 24 hours, I promised again to swear off Sebastian once and for all. That is, Tess made me swear. It seemed like an easy proposition. I was leaving in less than a week. With my 2 recent windfalls, I was looking forward to restarting myself when I went back to LA. And in no small thanks to Sebastian, I actually had a plan. I was going to be a photographer. Count your blessings, said Tess. That was her way of telling me to put the past behind us. I knew that my legitimate late nights hinted at all the other ones that weren't, even if Tess didn't know the details, which I knew she did not. That was the other blessing, how scrupulously I'd deceived. Mostly, she didn't want to hear Sebastian's name ever again. Either way, we still weren't finished being Terry and Tess. Gracie was all but moved out when I got back to the flat. I heard her on the stairs, caught her carrying armloads of clothes down to someone waiting in a car outside. A few times we exchanged pleasantries over tea-making in the kitchen. She said she'd found a beautiful one-bedroom in Kensington through a Sebastian connection, no surprise. Recent events were all too raw to rehash. What was the point? No discussion would have ended well. I was angry and sad about Finn, who I felt went like a lamb to the slaughter, while the best of him, his artwork, remained to be gloated over by his executioner. A few days later, I came home and saw Gracie's favorite mug gone from the cupboard, and I knew she had left for good. Suddenly, I was all by myself again. If the flat was once the answer to my prayers, it was that no longer. The whole place had the air of a beat-up boxer. Maybe it always did. I knew Tess and Gracie would never look back. Colin, bless his heart, was only waiting for me to move out before, under threat of eviction, he had to forfeit at no profit. It was never made clear to whom exactly. We surmised the no-name purchaser was a business entity entangled in the Grodian knot of C Limited. Colin told me he'd even decided to sell his flat in Shepherd's Bush in order to reset everything, as he put it. Called a loss for what it was. It was wiser than paying lawyers to untangle shadows. And finally, the most sensible decision of all, he was moving into the manor house with Francesca until I get back on my feet, he concluded. If even I was relieved, I imagine how Colin felt. I went up to Finn's room to have a look around. The bed had been stripped down to a mattress, the 2 work tables were gone, the wardrobe empty. The heavy easel was gone as well. Maybe Colin gave it to Francesca as something she might bequeath to one of her other young artists she nurtured. Only the heavy curtains remained, probably the most luxurious feature in the entire shabby place. Below, Tess and Gracie's room was entirely empty, save for the twin beds and bulky wardrobes. It was all swept out, as mine would be soon, ready for the next generation of drama, joys, and misadventures. Like the manor house, we were only passing through. Strangely, perhaps most disappointingly, I harbored more of a grudge toward Gracie than Sebastian. She made a choice, whether I liked it or not. Sebastian was the snake that ate the frog after promising he wouldn't, because that's what snakes do. As Colin said, he eats people. Okay. We'll continue next time. Thanks for following along.